cultures were called because they still survive, left written records, or their remote descendants preserved their knowledge. But no such evidence exists from the ancient British Isles. However, the stone circle builders are often referred to as the megalithic culture because of the monuments they left behind. The name comes from the word megalith, meaning quote-unquote large stone, specifically artificial standing stones such as those at Stonehenge. Although this is not an archaeological term for the culture, not one you will find in the official Stonehenge guidebook, it is certainly a convenient name and one we'll be using in this book. It should also be noted that a capital letter M is used when referring to the people who erected the monuments, as opposed to the lowercase m used when referring to the monuments themselves. Accordingly, the capital M megalithic people or culture were the main inhabitants of the British Isles around 3100 BCE, when the first stone circles were built, and were those still using them when the practice ceased. The small m megalithic monuments, on the other hand, were the enigmatic constructions they left behind, be they made from stone, earth, or anything else. With that clarified, let's briefly consider the most renowned megalithic monument, Stonehenge itself, and appreciate just what an amazing accomplishment it was for the megalithic people who built it. We shall return to examine it in more detail as our investigation proceeds. Stonehenge once consisted of an arrangement of well over 100 stones, up to more than 20 feet high and weighing as much as 50 tons each. They were quarried from rocky outcrops, cut to the desired shapes, hauled to where they were erected, and then heaved into position. Its outer circle was composed of 30 standing stones, each some 13 feet high, 7 feet wide, 3.5 feet thick, and weighing around 25 tons, spaced just over 3 feet apart. On top of them were placed 30 further 6-ton blocks, 10 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 2.5 feet thick, called lintels, forming a continuous ring of rectangular arches 108 feet in diameter. The tops of the lintels stood well over 15 feet above the ground. This outer ring is known as the sarsen circle, named after the sarsen stone, a type of hard sandstone from which it was made. Immediately inside the sarsen circle was a simpler stone circle of about 30 smaller stones, averaging about 6 feet high, 3.5 feet wide, and 2.5 feet thick, and weighing an average of around 4 tons each, known as the bluestone ring, as it was constructed from a particular type of dolerite rock commonly called bluestone due to its slightly bluish tinge. It was about 80 feet in diameter. The central arrangement of monoliths, standing stones, at Stonehenge was actually created in an open oval form. Called the bluestone horseshoe because of this shape, it was made from around 20 bluestones about the same size as those forming the bluestone ring, and was some 35 feet across at its widest point. Between the oval and the circle of bluestones there stood 5 massive arrangements of megaliths called trilithons. Each trilithon was formed from a pair of enormous upright sarsen monoliths, over 20 feet high and weighing up to 50 tons each, with a third sarsen stone weighing around 8 tons placed across the tops of them as a lintel to form a rectangular arch. As these trilithons were arranged in the same shape as the inner bluestones, this structure is known as the trilithon horseshoe and measured about 45 feet across. Close to the center of Stonehenge, there lies a large rectangular stone. Weighing around 6 tons, this 6-foot-long megalith now lies flat on the ground. It has been called the altar stone, although the name is misleading, as archaeologists believe that it originally stood upright as a single monolith. The scale of these stones is even more impressive when we realize that the height of the standing stones just given is not their full size. To keep the stones erect, about a third of each monolith needed to be buried below the ground. So the trilithon uprights, for instance, were well over 30 feet long. Time has taken its